Hey, Pastor Larry here. I want to talk about true worship. Now, don't get me wrong, I love our church's Sunday morning worship service. I mean, to hear God's children, my church family, lift up their voices and praise our Savior Jesus Christ, it is invigorating. But how many of us go to church week after week and are not able to say that we love it? We don't have a great time. We don't understand this concept of true worship. Would you allow me a moment to put to you a reason why I believe we don't experience true worship in our church services? Again, I love our church's worship service, but it is not a worship service just because we name it one. Isn't it bewildering that we can have a group of people all doing the same thing, but all experiencing something different? Let me explain why I believe this is. The Bible tells us in Romans 12:1, I beseech you therefore, brethren, by the mercies of God, that ye present your bodies a living sacrifice, holy, acceptable unto God, which is your reasonable service. Paul is begging the church to look at how good God has been, then to allow the goodness of God cause you to love him enough to lay down all that we are on this altar. This altar is where true worship begins, where we give Christ our desires, our ambitions, our wills, our very essence, so that he might give us his. This is true worship. This is the very least we can do. God says that it is most reasonable. Now, here's why so many of us can attend a worship service week after week and walk out unfulfilled, uninspired, and unchanged. We haven't done the most reasonable thing. We haven't given Christ all of who we are. We are holding on to things in our lives and refuse to do what is only reasonable. Or, even when we do try to give him all our lives, as we climb on this altar of sacrifice, we become too overwhelmed with the unknown and we climb back down. You will never know true worship if you won't be reasonable with God. You will never have the very best God has to offer you if you don't offer your very best and your worst. All that you are for all that he is. Let that simmer for a bit.